कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे,
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे,
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे,
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे,
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
अभी मैं आपको ग्वालपाड़ा ले चलता हूं, जहां पे हमारे कौन है, बिट्टू प्रभु जी वेट कर रहे हैं। और मैं ये बताना चाहता हूं कि आज हमारे विजय लांबा जी हरिप्रसाद प्रभु के साथ आगया गांव और दूसरी जगहों पे गए, जहां ऐसे ऐसे भक्तों से वो मिले जो कल प्रभु जी ने वर्णन किया था ना, कि कैसी उनकी बाहर की स्थिति थी, जिसको देख के मतलब विदुर की कुटिया याद आती है। ऐसे भक्तों को आज उन्होंने गुरुजी की सेवा दी, और वो सेवा जो है उन्होंने गांव में जाके उनको दी। आप देख सकते हैं, ये वो मठ के शिष्य हैं जिनको आज विजय लांबा जी ने उनके गांव में जाके, ये उनका गांव है जहां पे ये वैष्णव लोग हैं जो बिल्कुल विदुर की स्थिति में हैं, और गुरु महाराज जी ने इनको याद किया, इनको सेवा भेजी। मुझे याद आ गया जैसे प्रभुपाद जी वहां गए थे सारभोग में, तो असम के भक्तों ने प्रभुपाद जी की बड़ी सेवा की। आज मुझे लग रहा है गुरु महाराज जी उन भक्तों की सेवा कर रहे हैं, उसको लौटा रहे हैं। तो बहुत बड़ा काम हुआ है ये। इसी प्रकार ये जारी रहेगा जब तक ये लॉकडाउन है। जहां जहां पे हमारे गुरु महाराज जी के शिष्य हैं, परम गुरु जी के शिष्य हैं, गांवों में जहां पे भी हैं, ये लोग वहां जा जाके उनको सेवा दे रहे हैं। और अभी ग्वालपाड़ा से हमारे बिट्टू प्रभु जी बोलेंगे, उसके बाद बेंगलोर चलेंगे। बेंगलोर में अशोक स्वामी जी वेट कर रहे हैं।
प्रभु जी कैमरा ऑन करो, कैमरा।
ओके, करिए। हाँ जी प्रभु जी, करिए शुरू।
हरे कृष्णा। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। मैंने जब पिछली बार बोला था, वो सीकरी साहब का प्रसंग रह गया था, जो गौरंग सीकरी जी की मदर, जो वहाँ हॉस्पिटल से सीधा सत्यनारायण मंदिर में आई थी न्यू मार्टाउन। तो जब मैं गुरुजी को प्रणाम करने के लिए गया, तो जैसे गुरुजी कुछ देख रहे हैं, ढूंढ रहे हैं, तो मैंने जैसे प्रणाम किया तो गुरुजी कहते कि फ्रूट, कोई फल है? तो मैं एकदम नीचे आया दौड़ा दौड़ा। तो मैंने पुरी महाराज को बोला, पुरी महाराज कहते गुरुजी को बुला कर लाओ कि वो सीकरी साहब आ गए हैं। मैं कहा गुरुजी फल कोई मांग रहे हैं? कहते कोई बात नहीं, गुरुजी को बोलो ऐसे ही आ जाओ। तो जब मैं गुरुजी को बोलने के लिए गया तो गुरुजी के हाथ में एक सेब था। कमरे में तो कुछ नहीं है, लेकिन हाथ में
आवाज इतनी क्लियर नहीं है।
आवाज क्लियर नहीं है।
वो स्पीकर, प्रभु जी स्पीकर, उसको हैंड्स फ्री में स्पीकर। हाँ
क्लियर है,
स्पीकर लो, आवाज नहीं है बराबर।
हरे कृष्णा। मिश्रा जी आप क्लियर है?
मुझे तो क्लियर है, भक्त लोग कह रहे हैं कुछ क्लियर नहीं है।
हाँ जी प्रभु जी।
हाँ बोलो बोलो।
हाँ जी क्लियर है। तो गुरुजी नीचे आए, तो वो माता जी सीकरी साहब, माता जी ने गुरुजी को प्रणाम किया। लेटे हुए थे, लेटे लेटे उन्होंने प्रणाम किया। तो गुरुजी ने नरसिंह मंत्र किया। तो जैसे गुरुजी नरसिंह मंत्र कर रहे हैं तो माता जी एकदम भावुक हो रही है।
ये लाइव है कि पहले क्या?
उनका वहां से उठने का दिल कर रहा है, माता जी को बोलते हैं कि आपने बहुत सेवा की। ये मैं आगे आता तो आगे प्रसंग सुना दिया था, आधा अभी सुनाया है। तो जब गुरुजी नेक्स्ट जब गुरुजी 79 में जब चंडीगढ़ में आए तो गुरुजी के साथ परम गुरुजी के गुरु भाई भक्ति प्रमोद पुरी गोस्वामी महाराज, केशव प्रभु, किशनदास बाबा जी महाराज और पूज्य संत गोस्वामी महाराज, तो गुरुजी कैसे किस प्रकार से उनका वो आदर सत्कार करते हैं कि जब वो चंडीगढ़ मठ में आए तो किस प्रकार से उनकी पूजा करा रहे हैं, कैसे सब लोग भावुक हो रहे हैं। तो जब हमारे परम गुरु जी का पुष्प समाधि मंदिर 79 में वहां चंडीगढ़ में हुआ, तो ये किशनदास बाबा जी महाराज अपने हाथ में मृदंग लेकर महामंत्र, आज भी उस महामंत्र की आवाज मेरे कानों में गूंजती है। वही महामंत्र, क्या अद्भुत, मतलब उन्होंने छोड़ा ही नहीं, 3-3.5 घंटे उन्होंने महामंत्र किया। तो जब मंदिर की परिक्रमा होती थी उस समय, तो गुरुजी किस प्रकार से पूज्य हमारे गिरी महाराज जी, पूज्य भारती महाराज जी किस प्रकार से उनको आगे आगे कितना सम्मान देते थे हमारे गुरुजी। मैंने तो गुरुजी जब कथा में बोलते थे, गुरुजी बोलते थे कि मैंने जो गुरुजी में देखा, ये हर जहां भी जाते थे गुरुजी हर जगह पर ये प्रसंग जरूर बोलते थे, मैंने जो गुरुजी में देखा, जो मैंने शास्त्र में पढ़ा, जो मैंने वैष्णव के मुखारविंद से सुना, वो मैं बोलता हूं। मैं बाहर की कोई वाणी नहीं बोलता। जो मैंने शास्त्र में पढ़ा, जो मैंने वैष्णव के मुखारविंद से सुना, जो मैंने गुरुजी में देखा, गुरुजी अपने गुरुजी का इतना, जब वो बात करते थे तो एकदम मालूम नहीं कहां पहुंच जाते गुरुजी। अरे हमारे बख्शी साहब चंडीगढ़ के मुनि महाराज के वो चाचा जी, मतलब उनके आंखों से जब गुरुजी का प्रवचन सुनते थे, मैंने ये चीज नोट की, तो उनकी आंखों से आंसू छलकते थे। तो बड़ा अद्भुत मैंने वो नजारा देखा। एक बार गुरुजी, ये 82 की बात है, मैं नाम नहीं लूंगा, जलंधर में किसी गुरु भाई ने आकर गुरुजी को बोला, महाराज जी आप मेरे घर में आइए, तो मेरे बेटे की ऐसी ऐसी शादी हुई है, तो मैंने मकान भी नया बनाया है, तो उसमें एक बात है। गुरुजी कहते क्या बात है? तो पांडे जी को साथ में नहीं लेकर आना। तो गुरुजी कहते फिर मैं भी नहीं आऊंगा। तो हम भी नहीं आएगा फिर। तो जब गुरुजी ने बोला कि हम भी नहीं आएगा, तो वो एकदम आप जाइए बस। गुरुजी ने बात भी की दोबारा, वो बार बार बोलते रहे महाराज जी। गुरुजी कहते आप जाइए बस, आप जाइए बस, मैंने बात नहीं करनी, आप जाइए। तो उनके जाने के बाद गुरुजी ने अपना दरवाजा, रूम का दरवाजा लॉक कर लिया। लॉक किया तो जैसे वो घर से कुछ लेकर आ रहा है गुरुजी के लिए, जैसे वो स्कूटर पे चला, तो गुरुजी ने अपने सेवक को बोला कि वो कुछ सामान लेकर आ रहे हैं, तो मेरे को डिस्टर्ब नहीं करना। तो इतने में वो बाहर से खटखटाया 2-3 बार, लेकिन गुरुजी ने खोला नहीं। वो पुरी महाराज जी के पास गए, महाराज जी आप गुरुजी को ये। तो पुरी महाराज बार बार दरवाजा खटका रहे हैं, राधे 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 राधे, जय श्री राधे, लेकिन गुरुजी खोल ही नहीं रहे। तो पुरी महाराज पूछे कि कोई बात हुई थी? कहते नहीं महाराज जी, मैंने तो बस इतना ही बोला था कि आपने घर आना है, मेरे ऐसे ऐसे बेटे की शादी हुई है और नया मकान बनाया, तो उसमें आपने चरण डालने हैं, पर पांडे जी नहीं आएंगे। तो फिर कहते फिर मैं कुछ नहीं बोल सकता, आप गुरुजी जाने तो आप ही जाने, मैं नहीं कुछ बोल। तो 7-8 दिन के बाद उनके घर की ऐसी दशा हो गई, मैं प्रभु जी आपको क्या बताऊं, बड़ा ही मतलब निराला सा सीन ही हो गया कि उनके बेटे की शादी टूट गई, कोई ऐसा कुछ हो गया। घर में भी बहुत सारी मुसीबत आ गई, तो ये इंसिडेंट हुआ। तो जब मठ के ऊपर, हमारे गुरुजी के ऊपर काले बादल मंडराए, तो किस प्रकार से हमारे धर्मपाल शर्मा जी जलंधर वाले एक चट्टान की तरह पुरी महाराज जी के पास खड़े हो गए। तो पुरी महाराज कहते मैं नहीं जाऊंगा कलकत्ता। कहते महाराज जी आपको जाना ही पड़ेगा। कहते मैं जाऊंगा नहीं। आप जाना कैसे पड़ेगा, आपको तो मालूम ही है कि पुरी महाराज का कैसे स्वभाव है, मैंने नहीं जाना। कहते महाराज जी आपको जाना पड़ेगा। कहते मैंने एक बार बोल दिया मैंने नहीं जाना। कहते अच्छा महाराज सोच लो जाना कि नहीं जाना। कहते मैंने बोल दिया नहीं जाना। कहते महाराज जी आप पंजाब में नहीं आएंगे। ये मैं सीधा आपको स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड में बोल रहा हूँ, आप पंजाब में नहीं आएंगे, ये देख लो। तो जब तक उन्होंने पुरी महाराज जी के मुंह से हाँ नहीं निकलवा ली, बहुत सारा यत्न उन्होंने किया, एक चट्टान की तरह खड़े हो गए। कहते महाराज आप चलेंगे, हमारे साथ ही चलेंगे, आप ये मत सोचो हम आपको लेकर ही चलेंगे। कहते नहीं नहीं। धीरे धीरे उनका स्वभाव चेंज होता गया। तो उनको 6 दिन वहां पर लग गए। तो कहते मैं पुरी महाराज ने जब तक हाँ नहीं बोला तब तक मैं वहां से हिला नहीं। कहते जब उन्होंने हाँ बोला तो मेरे को सुकून मिला। कहते अंदर से तो मैं भी डर रहा था कि पुरी महाराज का स्वभाव ऐसा है। कहते मैं कहा भाई मेरे पीछे गुरुजी हैं, कोई बात नहीं, गुरुजी संभाल लेंगे, ऐसी क्या बात है। अगर मेरे से कुछ भी कोई शब्द अपशब्द हो गया हो तो मैं तो अपने गुरुजी के लिए, कि गुरुजी का मतलब जब गुरुजी आचार्य रूप में आए 79 से, गुरुजी के गुरु भाइयों ने इतना स्नेह कि कोई है ही नहीं कि हाँ मतलब ये हमारे गुरु भाई हैं ना, हमारा गुरुवर्ग। मैंने धर्मपाल शर्मा जी में देखा, धर्मपाल सेठी जी में देखा, योगराज सेठी जी में देखा, क्या अद्भुत उनका सीन कि किस प्रकार से अपने गुरुजी की, हमारे गुरुजी की रिस्पेक्ट करते, जैसे अपने गुरुजी को मतलब सम्मान देते उससे ज्यादा बढ़कर हमारे गुरुजी को देते। कितना बड़ा, मैं तो ये अद्भुत सीन देखता था। मैं ये हमारे नरेंद्र कपूर कितना बड़ा मतलब उनका योगदान, और कैसे मतलब महाराज जी को जब फर्स्ट टाइम आचार्य रूप में आए वहां पर चंडीगढ़ में, तो मिले तो वो वृंदावन में भी थे। जब गुरुजी गोवर्धन परिक्रमा करके जब वृंदावन में आए तो ये क्या नाम है अपना प्रहलाद दास गोयल जी और नरेंद्र कपूर दोनों वहां पर पहुंचे वृंदावन में, तब भी मिले थे, लेकिन तब आचार्य नहीं बने थे। तो जब 79 में जब चंडीगढ़ में आए, तो जब आचार्य रूप में आए तो गुरुजी कपूर साहब ने जैसे उनके मुख से आंखों से आंसू छलक रहे हैं, तो वो भी भावुक, कपूर साहब भी कितने भावुक हो। मैं तो वो सीन ऐसी मैं सीन देखे, मैंने भी जो मैंने देखा मैं वो बोल रहा हूँ। मैंने सुना तो बोलो बस बड़ा कुछ, लेकिन मुझे याद नहीं। मैं तो
दीपता नहीं
जब 79 में हमारे चंडीगढ़ के यशपाल शर्मा जी थे, जब परम गुरु जी का विरह उत्सव हुआ जलंधर में, तो उन्होंने एक बात बोली, कहते हमारे गुरु जी हमें आदेश देकर गए हैं, जैसे माला होती है, माला अगर हमारी टूट जाए तो मन की उसके बिखर जाते हैं, तो एक माला में उन्होंने ऐसा हमें बंधन में रखा है, तो हमने इसको टूटने नहीं देना। आज तक उनके शब्द मेरे कानों में वो मतलब महसूस होते हैं कि वही याद आते हैं। मैं कहा वाह क्या अद्भुत, कि मतलब किस प्रकार से गुरुजी के गुरु भाई मतलब गुरुजी के साथ कितना स्नेह। और गुरुजी 83 में जब लुधियाना दोपहर का समय था, पैसेंजर ट्रेन में राजपुरा से आए, राजपुरा से 9:30 बजे पैसेंजर ट्रेन चली। उस समय मई का महीना था, मई फर्स्ट वीक था मई का। तो आप देखो पैसेंजर ट्रेन हर जगह पे रुकेगी। दोपहर को 1:15 बजे लुधियाना स्टेशन पे पहुंची। मैं और राकेश कपूर हम दोनों वहां पर गुरुजी को रिसीव करने के लिए गए। अरे इतना गर्म वो कोच, गुरुजी के जरा भी चेहरे पर ऐसी कोई बात ही नहीं कि बहुत गर्मी लग रही या कुछ भी, एकदम बड़ा मुस्कुरा के गुरुजी जब उनको इलाचीगिरी मंदिर में लेकर आए गुरुजी को, तो मैं तो ज्यादा बात नहीं करता था, तो राकेश कपूर ने महाराज गर्मी बहुत है, मुझे कहते नहीं नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, इससे ज्यादा गर्मी तो हमारा बंगाल में होता है। गुरुजी ने ये जवाब दिया, ये नहीं बोला कि नहीं 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 यहाँ वो पंजाब में तो मई में अरे बाप रे बहुत गर्मी होती है, लू चलती है। तो ऐसा मतलब गुरुजी ने किस प्रकार से मतलब बात वो करते थे। एक बार बठिंडा में हमारा निष्किंचन महाराज जी और हमारा लुधियाना के जिगिरीदास जी, और दिसंबर का महीना था, वो फंक्शन की डेट लेनी थी, तो निष्किंचन महाराज जी सामने खड़े हैं, तो जिगिरीदास जी कहते महाराज जी इस बार हमें 10 दिन का प्रोग्राम दो। तो उस चंडीगढ़ के बाद ही था लुधियाना का वो बन रहा था, तो निष्किंचन महाराज पास में खड़े हैं, कहते महाराज जी दे दो, कोई बात नहीं 10 दिन का दे दो। कहते ठीक है मैं दे देता हूँ, लेकिन 4 दिन मैं चंडीगढ़ के काट देता हूँ। तो निष्किंचन महाराज का चेहरा एकदम, कहते क्यों महाराज बोलिए काटूं? कहते हाँ हाँ, कहते दिल से बोल रहे हो? और कहते महाराज सचमुच ना काट देना। तो ये हमारे गुरुजी का ऐसा स्वभाव कि मतलब देखने को, तो गुरुजी अपने गुरु भाइयों के प्रति, पूज्यपाद गिरी महाराज, हमारे पूज्यपाद भारती महाराज, पुरी महाराज, मतलब उनके प्रति कितना उनका स्नेह, मैं तो ये देखकर हैरान होता था। और कभी भी हमारे पुरी महाराज ने तो हम हमेशा गुरुजी बोलते थे, पुरी महाराज हमेशा हमारे गुरुजी को गुरुजी बोलते थे। तो कभी महाराज तो कभी कभी बोलते थे, लेकिन गुरुजी अक्सर मैंने पुरी महाराज के मुख से ये सुना। 1-2 बार कुछ घटनाएं ऐसी हुई, लेकिन पुरी महाराज ने उसमें गुरुजी का शब्द इस्तेमाल किया। मैं वो देख रहा था जब हम 83 में कलकत्ता में वो कार्तिक मास था, मेरे को मौका मिला, ये कुलदीप जी, अपना केवल जी, भूपिंदर जी, चुटानी जी, ये सब थे, तो मेरे को इनके साथ जाने का मौका मिला। तो मैं जब कार्तिक मास में वहां पर गया, तो मैंने एक दृश्य देखा वहां पर, क्या 3rd फ्लोर पे हम जब सुबह प्रभात फेरी निकलती है, तो जब प्रभात फेरी जाती है तब भी और वापसी आती है तब भी हमारे जब भक्ति प्रमोद पुरी गोस्वामी महाराज 3rd फ्लोर पे वो खड़े होकर गुरुजी को किस प्रकार से आशीर्वाद दे रहे हैं। क्या मैंने वो सीन देखा, तो गुरुजी का एकदम जैसे चेहरा ऊपर की तरफ गया, तो पुरी महाराज जी ऊपर से क्या मतलब जैसे कोई फूल बरसा रहा होता ना, इस प्रकार से उनका अद्भुत चेहरा। आज भी वो चेहरा मैं मतलब उसको याद करता हूँ, वो सामने आ जाता है, वो चेहरा अद्भुत चेहरा, वो मैं कल्पना नहीं कर सकता कि ऐसा। तो मैंने कार्तिक मास था, तो वहां पर मैंने एक बार ठाकुर जी को प्रणाम किया, तो मेरे हाथ में भजन गीति थी। तो जैसे मैं प्रणाम किया तो हाथ में ऐसे भजन गीति, तो गुरुजी ने फट से मेरी हाथ से भजन गीति छीन ली। तो मैंने सोचा पता नहीं किसने, तो बाद में मेरे को ये मालूम पड़ा कि मतलब ग्रंथ लेकर प्रणाम नहीं करते। पहले तो मेरे को मालूम नहीं था, बहुत सारी गलतियां करते थे हम। तो धीरे धीरे जो जो भी मेरे को मालूम पड़ा, मैं उसको सुधार किया। मैंने ये नहीं कि वो गलती एक बार की, दोबारा फिर उसको गलती को दोहराने का मैंने मौका नहीं दिया। तो हमारे जो ये 84 में गुरुजी जब लुधियाना से देहरादून गए, तो प्रभु जी आप देखने और कहने की बात है, ये लुधियाना वासी भी जानते हैं किस प्रकार से उन्होंने सुमो बुक की। उस समय कलेक्शन कितनी होती थी, सबके पास कितनी समर्थता होती थी, सब अपना अपना योगदान आकर और जब वो सुमो की तो उसमें 9 ब्रह्मचारी महात्मा लोग किस प्रकार से गुरुजी बैठे, अरे पीछे वाली सीट में 4 आदमी बैठे, पीछे वाली सीट में 4 आदमी, आगे एक और ड्राइवर एक, 10 आदमी थे। प्रभु जी इतना लंबा सफर, मेरा कहने का तो हिम्मत नहीं पड़ी वहां पर, लेकिन मजबूरी थी। और गुरुजी के चेहरे पर एक भी मतलब वो मैंने नहीं देखा कि इस प्रकार से मतलब नहीं नहीं ऐसे कैसे होगा। तो कभी भी मतलब गुरुजी आने जाने में कहीं भी जाना हो तो किसी भी अवस्था में तो गुरुजी जाते थे, मतलब कभी ऐसा नहीं बोला कि नहीं मैंने तो कभी जाना। और कभी ऐसा भी नहीं हुआ कि गुरुजी के चेहरे पर कोई उदासीपन कि इन्होंने कैसे कर दिया, कैसा अरेंजमेंट है, ना ना। हमारे जब कपूर साहब जब चंडीगढ़ का फंक्शन होता था, एनुअल फंक्शन और जन्माष्टमी दोनों का जब लाइट जाता था लुधियाना से, तो उसका खर्चा आना जाना सब कपूर साहब देते थे। तो गुरुजी को मालूम होता था, तो गुरुजी फिर भी तो आपका नहीं महाराज जी इसमें कुछ नहीं, मेरा तो कुछ नहीं है, कोई लगा ही नहीं। वो लाइट वाला कहता मैं तो लाइट लगाऊंगा वहां पर। कहते वो सरदार जी हैं अमरीक सिंह, मेरे को आज भी उनका नाम याद है, अमरीक सिंह। कहते वो कहते मैं वहां पर ना लाइट लगाऊंगा। तो मैंने कहा ठीक है तुम्हारी इच्छा, लेकिन वो कपूर साहब पहले ही उसको बुक कर देते। और गुरुजी को जरा भी इस चीज का नहीं होता था कि हाँ भाई लाइट का खर्चा भी है ना, महाराज ये सब आप ही कर रहे हैं, सारा कुछ हो रहा है। और जन्माष्टमी पर भी ऐसे ही किस प्रकार से लुधियाना से लाइट आती है और लगती है 5 दिन, 5 दिन का प्रोग्राम होता था, 5 दिन लगती है। मैं तो देख कर और कैसे किस प्रकार से सब लोग सेवा करते थे मैं देखते रहता था। लेकिन उस समय तो बचपना था, तो ये अभी मेरे को मतलब वो चीज मतलब याद आती है कि भाई ऐसे ऐसे मतलब वो उन्होंने सेवा की, कल्पना नहीं हम कर सकते किस प्रकार से। उस समय तो कोई इतनी सुविधा भी नहीं थी। मैं तो एक दिन अपने क्या नाम है वृंदावन के मठ इंचार्ज रदांती महाराज को बोला, मैं कहा महाराज जी आप तो जल्दी गाड़ी में बैठ गए। मैं कहा उस समय जब वृंदावन से मथुरा का आना जाना भी नहीं होता था, कोई साधन नहीं था, एक घुड़सवारी थी, वो टांगा चलता था, बस वो टांगे से। मैं कहा पुरी महाराज जी, भारती महाराज जी किस प्रकार से मथुरा जाते, और 2-2 2.5 घंटे लग जाते उनको जाने में, 2.5 घंटे लग जाते आने में। और कैसे जाते? साइकिल पर। वो साइकिल पे जाते तो साइकिल पे आते, कितनी मुश्किल होती। मैं कहा आज सारी तरह की सुविधा है। देखो हमारे गुरुजी, हमारे परम गुरुजी ने किस प्रकार से मठ बनाए और हम लोग मौज कर रहे हैं। आज मौज ही है एक तरह की, आकर बैठ के। और यहाँ पर ग्वालपाड़ा में मैंने देखा, तो मैं आज से 15-20 साल पहले आया था, तो तब तो मैंने मठ का देखा तो ठीक था, लेकिन अब मैंने देखा कि इतना बढ़िया, और तीसरी मंजिल तक वो गेस्ट हाउस पहुंच गया। उसमें कम से कम 35-40 कमरे तो हैं, बड़े आराम से। तो हमारे गुरुजी ने एक ही शिक्षा दी। मैंने जब मैं कलकत्ता में गया तो गुरुजी बोले स्थान मिला, जब 83 में हमारे जी मिला, कौन से रूम में? ऊपर में। गुरुजी बोले चाहे मठ में सीढ़ी भी मिल जाए उसमें भी रुक जाओ, जरा भी उसमें परहेज मत करो। क्यों? क्योंकि ये भगवान का घर है, भगवान का घर ही समझ कर आओ, गुरुजी का घर समझ कर आओ। ये अपना घर, अपने तो घर में तो सुविधा बहुत सारी होती है, लेकिन अपने घर में वो ठीक है, घर जैसी सुविधा तो यहाँ नहीं मिलेगी। जो भी मिल जाए उसी में ही संतुष्ट हो जाओ। ये नहीं कि हमें ये नहीं मिला, हमें ये नहीं मिला, हमें वो लैट्रिन बाथरूम अटैच चाहिए, हमें ये चाहिए, हमें वो चाहिए। चाहे एक कमरे में, उस समय तो हम 8-10 लोग मतलब एक कमरे में घुस जाते थे। तो वहां जो 4th फ्लोर में कलकत्ता में, तो 4 कमरों का 2 लैट्रिन बाथरूम अटैच, 2 लैट्रिन बाथरूम है, तो वहां सब लोग जाते। तो उस समय तो कोई ऐसा क्रेज ही नहीं था। लेकिन अब थोड़ा सा है कईयों में, लेकिन हमें वो गुरु जी की वाणी को याद रखना चाहिए हर समय कि जब भी हम मठ में जाएं तो गुरु जी का ये कि हमें गुरु जी ने ये बोला कि ये भगवान का घर, हम भगवान का घर ही समझ के आते हैं। आज हम जब कल हम जब गए पहाड़ के ऊपर, मैं प्रभु जी मैं देखकर हैरान रह गया। अरे करीब 350-400 फीट ऊपर है। तो मेरे को वो बोले कि हम नीचे आ रहे हैं लेने के लिए, वो जो गुरु जी जो सेवा दी राशन की, वो बोले कि हम नीचे आ रहे हैं। मैं कहा नहीं, आपको नीचे आने का जरूरत नहीं है, हमारे गुरु जी ने बोला कि ऊपर जाकर ही उनके घर में जाकर देना, नीचे नहीं आना। मैं और ऐसी मतलब हमें शक्ति मिल गई, पता ही नहीं चला। अरे एकदम 4 लिफाफे हाथ में है, यानी कि एक लिफाफे का वजन है 10 किलो, तो उठाना क्या साधारण बात है। अरे 350-400 फीट ऊपर जाकर हम उनके घर में, जरा पता ही नहीं चला कि मतलब हमने इतना वजन उठाया। एकदम गुरु जी की कितनी मतलब कृपा है कि वो कहां तक पहुंचा दिया। तो कैसे हमारे ये विजय लांबा जी लगे हुए हैं बड़े जोरों के साथ, और जो जिसके भी घर में जाते हैं वो बोलता बहुत बढ़िया हो रहा भाई, अब तो बहुत बढ़िया। मैं कहा नहीं, ये हर साल ही बढ़िया होता है, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं, हर साल ही। ये गुरु जी का, हमारे गुरु जी का घर है, तो गुरु जी हमारे कर रहे हैं, हम नहीं कुछ कर रहे, गुरु जी बस हमें एक निमित्त बनाया गुरु जी ने। मैं कहा वो लांबा जी कहाँ बॉम्बे थे, बॉम्बे से बुला लिया उनको, लांबा जी को, कि चलो आ जाओ यहाँ पर सेवा करो। मैं कहा मैं कहा, तो मैं तो मायापुर में था। तो महाराज जी मेरी सीट बुक करा दी महाराज जी ने। तो कहते चलो मैं भी आ रहा हूँ। मैं कहा चलो, कहते वो समाधि की कलेक्शन करनी है। मैं कहा चलो ठीक है। मैं यहाँ पर आया, तो मेरे को आने से 1 घंटा पहले मेरे को प्रसाद कहते हैं ऐसे ऐसे हालात बहुत खराब है, देख लीजिए, एक बार महाराज से बात कर लीजिए। मैंने महाराज से बात की। मैं कहा महाराज जी बोलिए। कहते कोई नहीं, कहते ऐसी कोई बात नहीं। मैं कहा ठीक है, मैंने तो न्यूज सुनी नहीं थी। तो कहते ऐसी कोई बात नहीं, जैसे गुरुजी ने बुलाना है तो कोई ऐसी कोई असुविधा नहीं हुई। और जब हम मठ में पहुंच गए तो एकदम उनके मेडिकल वालों को फोन आ रहे हैं कि भाई आप कहाँ हो। अरे भाई हम मठ में ही हैं, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं। कौन से मठ में? अरे हम पहाड़ में जो मंदिर है हम वहां पर हैं। अच्छा, तो यहाँ पर 3-4 बार वो मेडिकल करने के लिए आ गए, आपको कोई असुविधा नहीं? मैं कहा नहीं, किसी किस्म की कोई असुविधा नहीं है, हमारे गुरु जी का बहुत बड़ा आशीर्वाद है, कोई ऐसी बात नहीं। अरे हम तो यहाँ लॉकडाउन है, फिर भी हम बाहर जो राशन देने के लिए जाते हैं, एकदम ऐसी होता है कि जैसे गुरु जी हमारे पीछे। भाई हमारी कोई योग्यता नहीं है, हमारी कोई समर्थन कि हम इतनी दूर तक जाएं, लेकिन ये सब गुरु जी करवा रहे हैं। लांबा जी आज गए वहां पर आ गया में, ये 2-2 बोरे, मतलब एक तो हरिप्रसाद ने अपने स्कूटर पर, एक इन्होंने अपने। और मैं कहा महाराज कहाँ ले जा रहे हो? मैं कहा कहीं रास्ते में थोड़ा सा संभल के जाओ। ये मतलब 1.5 मन दोनों ने मतलब उसमें भार रख लिया। और मैं कहा इतना क्यों, मतलब इतना लंबा सफर है, कैसे ले जाओगे? तो मतलब इसमें क्या होता है कि गुरुजी पीछे है। मेरे को तो इतना विश्वास है कि भाई ये सब काम जो करवा रहे हैं गुरुजी, जो सेवा का काम, तो मैंने इसे गलत बोल दिया, जो सेवा करवा रहे हैं वो गुरुजी करवा रहे हैं और कोई नहीं करवा रहा, गुरुजी के माध्यम से ही हो रहा है, ऐसा कोई है नहीं। तो लॉकडाउन हो गया तो उसमें हमें भी यहाँ रहने का मौका मिला कि क्या मतलब अद्भुत। मेरे को ऐसे प्रतीक होता कि जैसे गुरुजी के मुख से भी सुना कि ये गोवर्धन पहाड़ है, तो वाकई गोवर्धन पहाड़ है। पहले तो 2-3 दिन पहले तो मेरे को बहुत डर लगा कि मैंने वो जहाँ सुना कि सांप, वो कहते नहीं, जिन का 60 साल उम्र हो गई यहाँ पर, वो बोलते हैं भाई सांप तो है लेकिन आज तक किसी को डसा नहीं, ऐसा कोई मतलब बात सामने नहीं आया। कहते इतना मतलब पहाड़ है, कहते बहुत सारे सांप है हमारे मठ में। सांप आ गया। हाँ, कहते अभी 15 दिन पहले हमारे मठ में ही आया था, तो लांबा जी ने हमारा वो उसका तस्वीर भी बनाया था, शायद उन्होंने आया हो तो मेरे को मालूम नहीं है। तो पहले पहले तो शुरू में बहुत डर लगा, लेकिन अब तो हम रात को 1-1 बजे तक बाहर ही रहते हैं। तो दोनों हम हरिनाम करते हैं कि चलो भाई। तो क्या अद्भुत नजारा है, तो अद्भुत दृश्य, और ऐसी आजू हवा कहाँ मिलेगी। और मेरे को जब निष्किंचन मारे की बात याद आती है। एक बार मैं अक्सर जब रामनवमी और ये जन्माष्टमी का मौका होता था मेरी शादी से पहले, तो मैं प्रोग्राम बना लेता था वहां चंडीगढ़ का, कि वो जन्माष्टमी के 2 महीने पहले वहां पर कलेक्शन शुरू हुई थी, रामनवमी में भी ऐसे 2 महीने पहले। तो मैं चले जाता वहां पर, हर सैटरडे को जाता और संडे कलेक्शन करके संडे नाइट को मैं आया था। तो एक बार मेरी देवकी नंदन के साथ मेरी वो सेवा लगी कि महाराज कहते देवकी नंदन के साथ जाना। मैं ठीक है। तो उस दिन, वो संडे वाले दिन बारिश थी, बाकी तो सब चले गए, लेकिन मैं और देवकी नंदन रह गए। और देवकी नंदन मेरे को बोले कि भाई आज बारिश है, अभी बारिश है, अभी रुक जाओ। मैं ठीक है। तो इतने में ऊपर से निष्किंदमा नीचे आ गए, कहते मुंडिया तू खड़ा की गल। मैं कहा महाराज जी, वो कहना बारिश है। कौन कहता बारिश है? मैं कहा देवकी नंदन। वो देवकी नंदन बुलाया, देवकी नंदन की गल तू इतने खड़ा है? वो महाराज है बारिश है, कमाल है तेरी वाली, ये बारिश है। वो मुंडिया कही है जा फटाफट देख, ये सेवा है, ये कोई आपा कोई उतो रुपया पैसा इकट्ठा नहीं करने जाना, ये एक सब भगवान दा लोग इत्थे देन आंदे ने। किनू? मैनू थोड़ी देन आंदे ने, भगवान नू देन आंदे ने। मेरी तू ये ना सोच कि तू नहीं जाएगा तो इत्थे सेवा नहीं होएगी। सेवा होएगी, 100% होएगी, क्योंकि भगवान नू देन आंदे। तो सब विश्वास रख। मैं तो वो सुन के मैं हैरान रह गया। अगर देवकी नंदन जी मेरी इसमें सुनते हो तो देवकी नंदन भी याद आ जाएगा कि किस प्रकार।
वो सुन रहे हैं आपकी।
अच्छा। एक बार लुधियाने इसे तरह ही कथा तो बाद परिक्रमा हो रही सी, मंदिर परिक्रमा, वो देवकी नंदन याद है वो सीन, क्या गुरु जी का अद्भुत सीन जो हमने वो दर्शन किया, वो आज भी हम दर्शन कर रहे हैं। वो ऐसा दर्शन ना पहले कभी देखा और ना ही बाद में कभी देखा। वो उसी दिन ही देखा था, वो नित्यानंद भाव, वो क्या अद्भुत नजारा था। वो कल्पना भी नहीं हम कर सकते, उसका मतलब शब्द तो है ही नहीं कि किस प्रकार से मतलब वो गुरु जी का वो जो अद्भुत मतलब परिक्रमा में जो हमने दर्शन किया, ऐसा दर्शन कभी नहीं किया। वाह, ठीक है प्रभु जी, आप बहुत सारा मैंने समझ ले लिया।
धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, थैंक यू। तो अभी हम बेंगलोर के अशोक स्वामी जी से प्रार्थना करते हैं। I request our God brother from Bangalore, Ashok Swami, to start his video.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
If it's not, I suppose it's not very late, already time.
No,
okay?
no, we have time.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Guru Gauranga Shri Radha Gokula. Om Ajnanatimiraandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So, I just wanted to share few small incidents that I remember when I was in Golpada. It was in the year 2007 when Vyas Puja celebrations of Gurudev was celebrated in 2007. And so that was my first ever visit to Guwahati and then to Golpada. And the experience was so very fresh because, you know, we normally have seen mutts only in Calcutta and in Jagannath Puri and Vrindavan perhaps until that point of time. But experience at Golpada, the visit to Sarbog temple, I mean the Sarbog mutt, and then Tejpur also, I think we went with the devotees. So first on the way, whatever we came, I think we had darshan there in the Sarbog. I remember that place a little. And so subsequently, when we reached Golpada, the crossing of the Brahmaputra river was such an amazing sight for me, because I never imagined Brahmaputra, even had no idea about what that Brahmaputra was like. So looking at it was huge, like an ocean there. So I was slowly sinking into the mood of Gaulpada. It was turning more mystical as I was entering the we could call it village, or the small town of Gaulpada. And all the settlements, I mean the hut, the buildings, and the kind of simple, I would say, not architecture, but the simple dwellings of all the people there. It was so amazing to be part of that. I was really touched to know that, such a humble town, Gaulpada, and Gurudev's birthplace. So I was internally I was feeling very at peace and very much eager to see the place a lot more. So that is what the initial feeling of Gaulpada was. So I just like to narrate a couple of things here. One is I normally used to carry my camera around wherever I used to visit any of our mutts. And so I basically, this was the event, grand event, right? I mean, in Vyas Puja celebration was held at a very grand, in terms of the number of people and the kind of arrangements that were there. So, I mean, on that day of the event, early morning, I think Nagar Kirtan took place, and a lot of other local participants were there. I remember there was this native traditional dance. What is it called? I don't remember the name. Dehu, is it? Dehu? Yeah, what is it? Some name of the dance.
Bihu.
Bihu. So I was very much impressed to see them and go on in the Nagar Kirtan and seeing all the people dance and singing kirtans. I mean, like, it was a beautiful thing. But since I was carrying the camera, most of the time I was distracted. I was not part of the, the tour of, the kirtan, with them. I was busy taking pictures, of the people there around, perhaps, or the whole ambience. So, but what was more attracting, it was drawing my attention, was this Bihu dance. And I suppose I lost my thing in the sense that I was too much attracted, kind of a thing. Perhaps it was my internal feeling that I'm telling you. It is not a very, something that I would just share. But basically, I was attracted by the beauty of the people dancing there, and so I was taking a lot of pictures. So I must have shot those. That my cameras, film roll cameras, it was like the old cameras. So I had shot 4 to 5 rolls, perhaps, and of different various things, of various scenarios, scenes there. So there was one roll which was fully of Bihu dance, perhaps, which was dedicated, or I don't know what that particular stretch was. Only that I was focused on. So it so happened that I knew that my thoughts were not very pure at that point of time, in the sense that it was some site that I was watching more than, giving undue attention, perhaps, sort of a thing. So it's somewhere down the line, the next day, for some reason, I don't know why, that roll is missing. That particular film roll is missing that I shot. So I was struck as to where did I lose this role? Why? All of the other roles are there, and how come I missed this role? I was thinking. So it is much later when I reflected upon this incident that I realized, and also I connected this with how Gurudev's mercy it is, basically because he, I remember this Chaura Garganyashtakam. So he basically steals what is, in the devotees' hearts. He knows that this is not conducive for, bhajan, or not conducive for this. So he basically took away that thing that I was attached to the most, in that the camera or the role or the event that I was trying to capture. So he gave me a message, a subtle message saying that, this is not it. So he stole that away from my heart, and that I lost that attachment immediately after that to the role and to the Bihu dance or the entire process. It was much later, of course, but what was in my memory, and I reflected on it, I realized that this is what the message is coming from Gurudev. It was only his mercy that I could overcome that thing from my mind, and so I was really, it was something that I remember as to how Gurudev is always at the rescue in terms of protecting his, with the little Shraddha that one has. He definitely is there for protecting in all situations. So another amazing, a small incident, if I could say it as an incident, it is just more my observation, it was not an incident as such, was that on the day of the Vyas Puja, and particularly when Gurudev was being offered all the obeisances from all the devotees, there were these localites, thousands of them. I mean, there was a long queue. I think one of the longest queues I've ever seen for somebody in any of our mutts, perhaps, or any other functions, maybe, is that the queue was so long. Everyone is waiting in line to offer their obeisances to Gurudev. And it was going on endlessly, so many people are coming, and meanwhile the offerings were made by various devotees next, and people continue to come and offer pranams and to Guru Maharaj, and do give some offering from their hand. So that was the thing, and it was going on for maybe 2 or 3 hours or maybe more. So while I was in the queue, I was thinking okay, I should break the line, or for me to get ahead a little faster and offer my own Dandavats pranams to Guru Maharaj. So I was always trying to see where I could wait. But then I said, okay, let me do it in the last. And I came out of the line. I didn't want to wait for so long. I was too impatient, perhaps. So I was thinking, okay, let me do it when the opportunity comes. And I came out and I was watching all the people who were coming closer to Gurudev. So I noticed one lady. She was, a resident of Golpara. She was quite old, and she was perhaps maybe in her 80s or even older, perhaps. Some estimate like that. So when she was about to come closer, in the sense she was 4 or 5 people away from in the line, she was basically, she wanted to give something to Gurudev, right? So she's not a disciple or anything. She was a Golpada resident. Not connected with her mutt. I'm sure she was not adorned with all the, I could guess that she was not a devotee, a follower of Gurudev, but she had a great, the devotion towards Guru Maharaj. The local residents had such devotion for him. So she rolled out her sari a little on the tip of where she kept some money, or suppose. But when she took out that, she had, she was just looking at it, because that was all was left with her. Maybe just it was a 1 rupee or a 5 rupee note rolled in her this thing. So she was feeling shy actually to even give that to him, basically, because that was all she had. And I could see her expression. I was observing her, how she was hesitant to hold it. She was holding it in her hand as though she was not wanting to reveal that to anybody or anything like that. So she was feeling very shy, and she was in, the eyes also was slightly watery. I could understand that she's in great feeling of what to do at that point. So nevertheless, I think when she offered pranams, Gurudev humbly accepted her, and he was so wonderfully smiling at her, and she was almost in tears after that. And she was like, she couldn't control herself. I think she came out of the queue, and then after pranam, and she really wiped her eyes so much that that was one observation that I made of the Gurudev's. People in Golpada really loved him so much that each of them came there that day with such great devotion. They're waiting, and even in the Nagar Kirtan, there are thousands of people all through the streets of the Nagar Kirtan that day. There was not even a single shopkeeper or any householder who didn't come offer garlands or some flowers to the people who were performing Kirtan. Almost, I think when we started, there were around 200, 300 people, but by the time it ended, I think there were almost 1,000 plus in that Kirtan gathering, actually speaking, Nagar Kirtan gathering. So it was a wonderful thing to really relate Golpada, since that was the only visit that I had in Golpada. And so I think it's just another 2 minutes, which is again a personal observation. Another incident, I wouldn't say it's an incident again, like it was on the day we were about to leave, Gaulpada, a lot of buses being organized for devotees. And so it was, the stopover on the Prasadam was at Gaulpada Mutt for all the devotees. Prasadam, in the morning breakfast, Prasadam was organized there. So I also went around. I think I was late to arrive at the place for Prasadam. So already devotees were sitting on wherever place they could find and waiting for Prasadam to be served. And I was also sitting there. So I was seeing that there's no, no one coming towards me to serve Prasadam. And I was waiting for some time. That Prabhuji came and he went, in the line ahead, in front of me, he's serving whatever was there, or maybe the second round it was or so. So he's serving so much. So, and I was thinking why no one is coming towards here, this side. I was asking, signaling Prabhuji, idhar bhi de dijiye kuch prasadam ke liye. So he said, wait, kind of a thing. So I was waiting for 5 minutes, he didn't come. So eventually he came with another katori kind of a thing, and he gave from that. It was not from the main dish, the main container that they normally serve, that they served for other devotees. It was from a different container that he served to me. So I was thinking, why is this something like this? Then I realized that somebody said to me that the prasadam is all over, and it is Martin Chad's, that Martin, I don't remember, I think it was, I don't remember his name though, but it is his portion of the prasadam that he's getting it from. So I was really touched by these incidents, because this was my initial exposure to the Gaudiya Mutt as such, in the sense to any mutt for that matter. But this was the internal view or the observation of how humble humility and how the nature of all the not only the residents, not only the devotees, the residents, the whole of, so today if somebody says it's Gaulpada Dham, it was not Dham before, in the sense it was just known as Gaulpada when we used to just visit. So if someone has titled it Dham, I think this is in the true sense, it is the Dham, because it is not just one or two or the followers of Gurudev who is, who have a deep connection with Guru Maharaj there. It is the entire town and the entire place. I also had the opportunity to visit that Mahadev with Mishraji. In fact, we both went there to that remote hill, the hill where the Shivji small temple is there. It's not actually a temple, but just a small thing beneath the tree. So the whole place is not just about our mutt. It is, the whole environment is vibrating love for Guru Maharaj there. So it is such thing that I could experience in that first visit. And though of course I've not had the opportunity to visit that place again, but I think this is more than enough for me to remember this throughout my life, and how humility and how devoted the residents, and how fortunate the residents of Gaulpada are to have our Gurudev there. So I would like to end my small experiences that I just here at this point. So Mishraji, Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna. Thank you all for patiently listening to me here. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I wanted to hear more from you.
Some other time perhaps. I think it's more than time for you in terms of your normal schedule of 8.
Oh, it's okay. Everything goes in recording so people can hear also, no?
So Gaulpada, like I said, this was one of the thing experience. And since I'm talking about Gaulpada, this I can also perhaps share related to my visit to Guru Maharaj, or to visit in Calcutta Mutt in 2013. This was the time when Janmashtami time, Krishna Janmashtami time hit. So myself from Bangalore, Vidya Mataji, Vishaka Dasi, and my nephew, one of my sister's son, nephew. We 3 of us flew to Calcutta from Bangalore. Not at the time of Janmashtami, we knew that it would be very crowded. at that point of time, so we wouldn't get enough. So we thought we should leisurely visit Guru Maharaj and have his darshan there. So we came post Janmashtami, a week after that, and that was the time we could get some darshan time with Guru Maharaj. So this was something, again, a simple, it was my personal observation. So Guru Maharaj, as usual, whenever from Bangalore, we come from Bangalore, I go from here, he always remembers, like he tries to speak in Kannada, Salpa Salpa Gottu, Kannada. So he always says that, so he has a broad, he has a smile, and he tries to say something, or that particular sentence he always so it was always wonderful to watch him. And then that day, in fact, he remembered also one of the events when he had come to Bangalore. So he always remembers that. In fact, on more than one occasion, he has remembered this. Is that there was a katha, in the auditorium in Ramakrishna Mission in Bangalore. So that was the most blissful event in Bangalore of all the events, other events, particularly because I was part of that event in the sense that I could attend that only of the other 4 or 5 events that I couldn't attend in Bangalore. That was the only event that I was fortunate to be attending. And also in terms of the crowd and the size and the auditorium scale and the, the environment, in all aspects, that was very memorable, actually speaking. So Guru Maharaj also remembers that visit and his katha session, and how the devotees there in Ramakrishna Mission, the president of Ramakrishna Math, the sannyasi, so he was there on stage also that day to listen to Guru Maharaj. He spoke on Gita, the teachings of the Gita. That was a topic that day. So how Guru Maharaj spoke on that, and he remembered, he on stage, the sannyasi on stage came and said that, this was the most comprehensive Gita, or the most touching version of the Gita that I've heard ever till date. So he has heard many such sessions, or he himself is an erudite scholar on the Gita, perhaps, or, considering his background. So when he spoke that, it was something which was a great compliment. The words that came from his own self. So Guru Maharaj remembers, because the auditorium, the kirtan was so nice in the sense that everyone could hear the soft kirtan, in the sense the speaker system was so wonderful there. So that's what I mean. It was not loud, or it wasn't this kind like we normally get to see in other public speaker systems. So it was very well, the ambience was so great. So Guru Maharaj always remembers that Ramakrishna Mission program, and whenever we go to Calcutta, he always remembers this program. I have come there. It was a wonderful program. So he always remembers that program. That day also he remembered that program. And so when for a few minutes we were sitting and listening to him. And when Nidya Mataji did pranam to him, and my nephew also did pranam to him, he blessed them, my nephew, greatly. And so he was, for a moment, he was not sure if I was married for some reason. He had a doubt whether he was my son or something like that. He had a doubtful thing in his looking at me. I was the last to do pranam there. So he was looking at me. So I said, Maharaji, they are not my family members. I told him they are. So I just felt like saying that to him, because for a moment I thought he was trying to connect to me and saying that it is one single family. I said, no, Maharaj, I'm still single, I told him. So he was smiling, and he said, what can be done? So that was his favorite sentence almost all the time. Many times he has said that, what can be done? Kind of, I think he was smiling and laughing actually. So that was the last I could have his darshan, and that was the day. In fact, that whatever little interaction that I had, that was almost the last interaction with him in terms of personally sitting him and seeing him in that normal, the darshan, in his room. So after that, they both left from, they had to go, and I had another program to go to Mayapur myself and to Bombay also. So I had 2-3 more days left to stay there. And so before leaving to the airport, I wanted to just have his darshan. It was just another day, the next day, I think it was. So I just wanted to have his darshan again. So obviously it was not his regular darshan time, and so there was no scope or arrangement that I could just go inside and see him. But with the grace or some mercy of, I would say, Prince, he was there that day. He said, Prabhuji, aap Guruji ki kamre mein aiye karke. Matlab, he actually took me to the other side of the door, and Guru Maharaj was just, I think he was awake, and he was just awake in the sense he was just sitting there, and I could see his eyes were reddish, quite red, and I was thinking it was perhaps due to lack of sleep or so. Perhaps he was in a different mood, or in his mood of bhajan, or he was in this different state of mind perhaps. But the moment I did pranam to him, he recognized, and he just nodded at me, and he immediately started telling that, the guest house thing, and this person is spending a lot of time and energy and resources, so that how it is very important for him to go there and be there to guide this thing. So he was saying many things like that, because that was the first time I was hearing all this. I was not able to connect, what is this guest house? Why is he saying this thing at this point of time to me? So I was not able to understand what he was saying. So I was looking at Prince Prabhu, but nevertheless, he was continuing to speak about this guest house so much that he was asking me, the last thing he asked me was that, will you come there? I said, yes, Maharaj, always. Anytime you say, I will be there, kind of a thing. I just told him, I'll be there, of course, I'll be there, I told him. So that was the last sentence that I heard from his lotus lips. He said, will you come there? So that was, I don't know if it was how I will take those words. Those were the last words. Whether I will take it, I could take it in any way I want to, in terms of in my own journey, spiritual journey perhaps. But this is something that came from his own self that day. So I was very fortunate to have had that last interaction with him, because after that, 2 months after that, I think he was admitted, and he went to Guwahati, and he was there, I think 2-3 months, I suppose, after that. And so in December, we get a call saying that, Guru Maharaj is serious and he's admitted in Guwahati. So those were the days when I was without a job. I mean, like, I had left my job basically way back in 2013, April, May types. So I was at home, and I was always busy trying to figure out what I would do next, in terms of activity, engagement, and stuff like that. And I also had very little resources with me at that point of time. But when I got this call, so I said, okay, I have to make this trip immediately, and I had checking out the flights, and it was quite expensive, just the last moment you're trying to book flights. And to top it all, even Vidya Mataji also said, she'll also join. So we both booked the flights immediately, irrespective of what my background thing was. And we came to Guwahati. And so that's where, it was a different experience altogether. Thousands of devotees had gathered, all of them staying in different places wherever possible, some at the Mutt, and some people stayed in hotels organized nearby, or guest houses and somebody's house here and there. I had the opportunity to stay with the devotees. In fact, Muni Maharaj was across the other room, and Dr. Bansal was also there with me. We both stayed together. And so he had close interaction with Gurudev every day, because he was a doctor. Being a doctor, he would personally go meet, rather be in the room, and always give us and come out and share news, what happened and how Guru Maharaj was responding, not responding. So we would always discuss. We were both discussing mostly on how Gurudev's condition is, and trying to understand from him some medical terms. So it was, though I was not physically there, so I could always get a most update medically, as well as from his darshan of Guru Maharaj. So I never missed not being inside or being in the hospital at any point of time. So this was a wonderful experience for me. What they call it as the Dur Darshan Ki experience, that was for me. So there was a time when they had darshan for public. You know, Guru Maharaj was taken from that ICU. It was not ICU. It was from his suit, I would say, to another location for one small time because of the darshan. I think for whatever reason he was there in the opposite side. I think so. A lot of people were waiting in the queue that day, and that was the first darshan for the public after he was admitted in the hospital there. So I think maybe for 2 to 3, 4 hours, perhaps the queue was on. Such a long queue it was. So each of us, nevertheless, when it was my turn and I did pranam to Gurudev from distance at the entrance, all I could see was his glowing self. You know, the pink. It was like a glowing baby, the pink baby. He was just lying like that with so much of effulgence. And so the first thing I reacted and told Nilesh, he was just next to me, he was waiting in next. He was just behind me actually speaking. So I told him, "Gee, this is so wonderful. So is this like, I'm seeing like a small child, a small pink thing, you know, sitting and glowing there, and he is like resting so peacefully and such a blissful condition. So it's so wonderful sight." Immediately, that was the first thing I told Nilesh. So he was thinking, oh, maybe, you know, I have some special internal view of Guru Maharaj or something like that. He was thinking to himself perhaps. But when he went inside and came out, he also was alive with that same expression. Like, you know, he was so wonderful there, blissfully, that effulgence was there around him, that aura was so very divine. It was similar experience he also came and shared. So then we realized that how Guru Maharaj, his pastimes were such divine there. So such were the feelings that I remember around that time. And then of course the kirtans that were being sung and the whole event. And of course in the mornings, whenever Dr. Bansal would go, doctor would go and come back and return, I was eager to wait from him as to what he would say or what his version of the Guru Maharaj's condition would be. I was very eager to, and we also used to discuss. So one thing commonly we both shared the views was this, that Guru Maharaj will come out from this. I was always confident. This was not the first time that I was confident about in terms of timing. Guru Maharaj's, I was very confident that he would come out of this situation and he would not, on the contrary to what most of the doctors within the hospital thought, that he would, perhaps his condition is critical and he would not come out alive. And this always this question of keeping him and doing a surgery or not a surgery and all those other debates apart. But myself and doctor, we always shared this strong conviction. We had that strong conviction that Guru Maharaj would somehow come out of this untouched, in the sense that it wouldn't do more harm to him or anything like that, and he would definitely come out of the situation. So that was the feeling. So, and with such feeling, I also couldn't extend my stay beyond a point because I'd already had had to return because I had to urgently execute a freelance work that I had taken up. So I had to return for some reason or the other. So I exited. I mean, I knew with this confidence that Guru Maharaj, nothing will happen to him. I stayed there for a few days, of course. But it was towards the condition when the discussion was going on, how to take him to Calcutta, and those discussions were going on. That was the time I left Guwahati. But I always remembered that you will come there, right? So that was a sentence that remained in my mind always. So I knew that I would be there whenever Guru Maharaj calls me again. At any point of time, I would be there. I knew that. So with that confidence and faith, I left Guwahati and returned to Bangalore. So I think Guwahati was something which, an experience of, in continuation, I would say, because there is no end in terms of where the threads you can connect, you know, because my connect was in Calcutta first when Guru Maharaj said, will you come there? The next was that I knew that he would definitely get to Calcutta and play his divine pastimes there further. And so I was peaceful in Bangalore, doing whatever. And I don't know if I can take more time, Prabhuji. Haribol. Rajendra Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
As you wish.
Okay, I'll just stop at this one more thing because it was in this sequence of things that I want to just end it after this perhaps. So I was in Bangalore, it was 2014. So there was no connect with, in the sense there was no plan to physically visit Calcutta due to my own engagements and limited whatever resources or whatever plan and other things that I had on my list of things to do types. So I was busy with my things and engrossed as usual in that activity. So it so happened that sometime around mid-July, 2014, June, July, perhaps, I don't remember the month. It was a very, the time when, it was a very strange thing, it was an experience in my life actually, is that I had a dream in which my father is there in the dream. So he is basically cleaning the Panchpatra and Chandan. It's like a divine thing, you know, the paraphernalia. So he's cleaning some of those and he's trying to get some flowers and all things in a plate and all that stuff. So he said, in the dream, he says, Paduka. Okay. So I need Paduka, you know, here. So I said, immediately I respond to him in the dream saying that I'll bring Guruji's Paduka. Is it okay? I asked him. He says, yes, that's what I want here. So that's okay, he says. So in the dream. So after that, the dream ends and somewhat vaguely, morning, it was so fresh, the sentence, I remembered only this part about the Paduka that I had conversed with my father in the dream. So immediately I called up Calcutta. I called up Nilesh and Muni Maharaj, I think even Prasad Prabhu. I couldn't reach one of them. So, but nevertheless, I immediately connected with Calcutta, the Sevaks there, and I asked for Guruji's feet size impression basically. So I got that on mail, and then immediately I basically went to the shop nearby, not nearby, it's not a shop actually, it's a place where they do those wooden carvings and all those kind of things, a workshop. So I went looking for such places and eventually I found a nice sandal. I gave him the impression. He said it will take minimum 20 days to get this done because that's how they work. So I said, no problem, whatever days. And I got one of the good, whatever lot made. So immediately after that, I booked my flight to Calcutta and I came there with the Paduka. And Muni Maharaj was, in fact, opened the door that day, where Guru Maharaj was in that room. He was resting there. So that time when he was made to sit on the wheelchair, offered the Paduka to Gurudev's feet and he wore it. And so I accepted that as my most treasurable thing ever, in terms of a physical object, a physical aspect, to say. That was the only connect, something that apart from all the other things, of course, in terms of the Paduka, was a dearmost thing to me. So he graced me that not only, in terms of the offering, that the Paduka itself, with his lotus feet on it, but I also connected this with, that you have not come for so many days here to Calcutta. So kind of a message that I got internally, because not only that dream, there's another thing around that time was that, because this was a very strong feeling, the sense that those were the days, perhaps I was reflecting on Gurudev's, as to how this suddenly happened, because I never imagined in my life that I needed keep his Paduka, and how this message came through my father and how I went and actually could get this thing. So it was around that time that when another dream actually incidentally was coming, he was communicating in this ways to me. So in this dream, it was, I don't remember the kirtan, but Guru Maharaj is having darshan of the deities, Nayananath ji in Calcutta, and he's singing a kirtan. I don't remember the kirtan because it was in the dream, nor I was able to recollect what kirtan it was. But the kirtan was for 5 minutes. The entire kirtan he has sung while he is observing the deities. So I was seeing him in the deity background and the kirtan. I could hear all of it, the entirety, and he comes after that, and then I do pranam to him in that incident, that moment. So he is looking at me there. At that point, that's when the dream ended. So I always believe, I always have strong faith that he is, though he was silent, it is his silence spoke more than anything else, because such intense connect he has with his people, I mean with his devotees and with his own family. I would say, I wouldn't use the word devotee, friend, whatever, with his own family, with his own Gurudev's family. So that was the kind of the experience that I had, and with such experiences, I never felt far away from him, even for a single moment, till even now, I feel strongly that he is not far from, though he's far from vision, but is never far from his touch. He's always present, and he always is most humble. I mean, he is so merciful in his expressions. It just comes without asking, it just happens. And these were the two things that I always remember: how he communicates despite him being in silence at that point of time. So this was the pastimes of his, and I could relate this to the first incident, like, will you come there, kind of a thing. So I always wait for further of his darshan any point of time, and I hope I get his message, and without any of my own materialistic engagements. So I just wait for the day. Hopefully Guru Maharaj will continue to have us communication or a message or expression. I humbly offer these offerings today to thank the audience. I mean, thank all of you to have patiently listened to me. I think I've extended the time beyond way too much. Rasta Hari Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Dandavad Pranam, it's very good. And when it comes by the grace of Guru Maharaj only, that we can remember all these things. It's very important, nice to hear. Only thing is that when you said that I will wait for his communication, don't you think this Guru Katha is communication to all of us in this lockdown?
Actually, if you ask me, I don't know if lockdown is a blessing or blessing is because of the lockdown. The other way. So because of his blessing, we have a lockdown. It's not because I think that that is how it is. So his blessing is always there, no doubt. And it doesn't require anybody to wait for it, I think. When there is a blessing, the lockdown happens. So that is how it works. We are here not because of the lockdown. We are here because of the blessings of Guru Maharaj.
Yes. And very nice to hear. And I remember when you mentioned 2007, I remember when we saw you in Bangalore first time. I remember when you visited Kochi.
Yes.
For that centennial celebration of Guru Maharaj, Param Gurudev.
Yes.
So I remember all those incidents with you.
Yes.
And I felt that Guru Maharaj has a special affection for you. Maybe not just because of you, but also because of many other factors. When one of the factors is you being from Bangalore.
I don't, because see, Bangalore was such a blessed thing for me, because him coming to Bangalore, I mean to say, not Bangalore. I mean, him coming to Bangalore was the most, because Bangalore is not part of India. It's like, it's never carries the traditional India so much. It does in some parts, but Bangalore is largely like a Western city, It is largely influence of beer culture, rock culture, IT culture, electronics industry. So people are more towards that, at least the youth. I mean, the middle-aged class families are still traditional in nature. But generally the youth sentiment is more inclined towards these things. Not that they're greatly like the Western people, but definitely the inclination is towards that. And I was one of them, actually speaking. So basically, after a long time and my own, maybe some exposure to here and there things, I came in contact on my own somehow or the other with Guru Maharaj. So that I would keep it to some other day, perhaps in terms of what I would like to share. But in short, his coming to Bangalore was not just an ordinary event, and none of his moments or none of his words are ordinary, anyways. But to me, it appeared that there was a direct message there to me, and what I further would have to do. So therefore, I meant that. So I do not know what is in store, because there's always a surprise element, always. So that's what I meant by anticipation.
Yeah. And I would like to mention here that Ashok Swami is talking of his father, who already left this world long back.
Yes, 2003, he left the world in 2003.
So his father came in his
And he has never come before and never after that.
Look at this. This is some beyond our imagination, what is happening. So thank you, Prabhuji. We'll have you again once more at least.
Sure.
So, thank you.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
So आज बहुत अच्छा लगा सबसे सुना, और कल और भी अच्छा लगेगा, और भी सुनेंगे. इसलिए वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु भयवचा पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय गुरुदेव. जय गुरुदेव.
जय गुरुदेव.